The river roared with spring's fury, fed by melting snow high in the mountains. Its surface glittered like broken glass beneath the late afternoon sun, a dangerous beauty concealing deadly currents below. On the far bank, pine trees leaned over the water, their dark branches swaying while hawks circled lazily overhead. But this peace shattered with a sound that didn't belong. A high-pitched cry, sharp and frantic, carried across the water. Again, it came short, panicked bursts that clawed at the silence. It was the cry of something small, helpless, and drowning. Downstream, a wolf pup flailed in the torrent. Its paws slapped uselessly at the rushing current, its thin body twisting with each surge of water. Barely 3 months old, it was no larger than a shepherd dog, but its wild eyes already bore the gold of its kind. Terror filled them now. The pup gasped and yelped, its tiny muzzle breaking the surface only to vanish again beneath the waves. Along the river's edge, Elias walked with his camera swinging against his chest. He wasn't a hunter. His prey was light shadow, the fleeting moments of nature. For years, he had roamed the forests, chasing sunrises through mist and the quiet dignity of animals in their world. But nothing had prepared him for this sound. Elias froze. The yelps cut through the thunder of the river, and his stomach knotted. He knew distress when he heard it. His boots splashed mud as he sprinted forward, following the cries until the scene opened before him. His breath caught. There, trapped in the current, the pup fought for life. Water foamed around its head as it tried to climb onto a slick log, only to slip back again. Elias didn't think, he simply moved. His pack dropped to the ground, camera forgotten. He kicked off his jacket boots, pounding the gravel, and dove into the icy flood. The water hit him like knives. Cold clamped his lungs, but adrenaline drove him on. He pushed against the current, arms cutting through water that fought to drag him under. The pup's cries weakened its body, bobbing dangerously. "Hold on!" Elias shouted, though the river drowned his voice. His fingers stretched toward slick fur, missed, then lunged again. At last he caught it, tiny ribs heaving under his grip. The pup thrashed claws, raking his forearm, but he held tight, tucking it against his chest. The current fought him every step back. His legs burned, lungs screamed, but he refused to let go. Inch by inch, the bank crept closer. Finally, his boots struck mud, and he staggered ashore, collapsing with the pup cradled against him. It coughed weakly, water dribbling from its muzzle, then shivered violently. Elias rubbed its sides, murmuring, "You're safe. You're okay." His own chest heaved, his hands raw, but relief washed through him in waves. The tiny creature had survived. For a moment, time stilled. The pup pressed against him, whimpering softly, as if it understood. Elias felt his throat tighten. Tears blurred his vision, tears he hadn't expected. He'd captured countless moments of wild beauty, but saving a life like this, it was different. It reached something deeper, but the wilderness doesn't stay silent. A new sound rippled through the trees, a low, resonant growl. The hairs on Elias's neck stood up. He turned slowly. At the forest's edge, a shadow moved. Then it stepped into the light. A wolf. Not just any wolf, the alpha. Massive, scarred, with a thick gray coat that shimmered silver in the sun. Its eyes, gold and unblinking, locked onto Elias. Its paws pressed silently against the earth, yet its presence was thunderous. Elias's breath caught. He knew enough of wolves to understand the danger. This wasn't just an animal, it was a leader, a protector, and it had just seen a human clutching its pup. The alpha's lips curled, revealing fangs long and white. A rumble built in its chest, rolling like distant thunder. Elias froze, heart hammering. He raised his hands slowly, palms open. "I didn't hurt it," He whispered, voice trembling, "I saved it." The pup whimpered again, leaning into Elias's leg. The gesture nearly broke him. If the alpha misunderstood, this could be fatal. The wolf advanced step by deliberate step. Its gaze flicked from Elias to the trembling pup, then back. Elias forced himself to stay still, though every instinct screamed at him to run. He lowered his voice. "Go on, little one. That's your family." But the pup pressed tighter against him, seeking warmth. Elias's chest ached. He pushed it gently toward the alpha, though his hands shook. The wolf stopped only feet away. Its size up close was overwhelming muscle and power wrapped in fur, every movement laced with command. It lowered its massive head, sniffing. The pup yelped, stumbling forward, then finally pressed itself into the alpha's chest. The great wolf rumbled low, curling its body around the pup protectively. Elias exhaled, trembling. He expected it to end there, the alpha reclaiming its young, sending him away. But the wolf lingered. Its golden eyes met his burning with something Elias couldn't name. The alpha stepped closer, closing the space between them. Elias's throat went dry. He shut his eyes, bracing for teeth. Instead, he felt the brush of warm breath on his cheek, and then the rough sweep of a tongue. The wolf licked the mud from his skin. Elias opened his eyes, stunned. The alpha stared back, unblinking, then let out a deep, resonant rumble, not a growl, but something that felt like acknowledgement. "Thanks." The pup looked back once, ears perked, then bounded into the shadows behind its parent. The alpha lingered a moment longer, gaze locked with Elias before it turned. Its form melted into the forest, silent and majestic. Elias sank to his knees. His chest shook, tears spilling freely now, not from fear, but awe. He pressed a hand to his heart, whispering, "Thank you." The forest seemed to sigh around him, the tension lifting as birds called again overhead. When he finally stood, his legs trembled. He gathered his pack with shaking hands, the camera heavy but forgotten. No photo could capture what had just happened. Some moments belonged only to memory. That night, back at his cabin, the fire crackled softly. Elias sat in silence, clothes still damp, staring at the flames. His friends asked what had happened, why his eyes were red, but he shook his head. Words failed him. How could he explain the feeling of being spared by a predator, of being recognized, even honored by the wild? At last he whispered almost to himself, "I saved its pup." And it thanked me. Outside, the forest stretched vast and endless, the alpha's howl rising faintly in the distance. Elias listened, a shiver running through him, not of fear, but connection. Man and wolf bound by a single act of compassion. And that's the story of Elias the wolf pup and the alpha who emerged from the shadows. A tale of fear, courage, and an unthinkable bond. The wild is fierce, but it remembers kindness. If this story touched you, leave a comment, share it, and subscribe for more. Until next time, remember, sometimes, even in the wildest places, gratitude speaks louder than fear.